Things are really not looking good for Eric Ten Hag at the moment. Jim Ratcliffe had an interview and an opportunity to say, look, we're backing Eric, but he didn't. He just said it's not his decision. Now Fabrizio Romano is coming out saying, look, internal stuff is going on. We know there's a big meeting on Tuesday with the Glazers, the INEOS reps, Ashworth, Barada. And while that meeting may be to discuss general things in a January transfer window, it has been suggested they will be discussing Ten Hag's fate in that meeting. And could a result versus Villa be enough? Have INEOS already made the decision on Ten Hag? We reported yesterday that Ashworth and Barada do want to give Eric Ten Hag time, but Jim Ratcliffe is losing patience and may force him to pull the trigger, and ultimately they may have seen enough to pull the trigger. It's not that they believe in Ten Hag, it's that they don't want to sack him so early on. But what is the plan? What managers are they contacting, and what is the plan ahead of the January window? Hello and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a 10-minute Manchester United news roundup. Please do hit that like button and of course subscribe down below if you're new. Let's get right into what Fabrizio Romano had to say. He said the game against Aston Villa could be crucial for the future of Ten Hag. The game is important, but they want to see reaction and also the body language with several things. Jim Ratcliffe had the opportunity to say Ten Hag is untouchable when asked, but he didn't because internally they're discussing the situation. Internal talks are going on about the future of Eric Ten Hag. So this has come out from Fabrizio Romano, tier 1 source of information, who has said internal talks are going on about the future of Ten Hag. He's saying the game against Villa will be crucial. It's not just the result, it's the reaction, it's the body language, and that Ratcliffe had an opportunity to say Ten Hag's untouchable when asked, but he didn't. We also know from the Muppeteers that Jim Ratcliffe wanted Tuchel in the summer. If it was Jim Ratcliffe's choice, Ten Hag wouldn't be here, and Tuchel would, according to the Muppeteers. But the only reason Eric Ten Hag is still here is because Ashworth and Barada make that decision. Ashworth and Barada do not want to sack him so early on. They want to focus on other things. Ashworth, and Graham Potter said this on Sky, is a big guy when it comes to backing your manager and doing everything possible to get the managers to succeed. But there is now a little bit of pressure on Ashworth and Barada to maybe make a decision. If we don't see anything good versus Villa, it could be the end of the road. And why could it be the end of the road? Well, multiple sources have said this. It was first said by Stephen Transfer.com that even if Manchester United beat Villa, there will be conversations taking place about Eric Ten Hag's future in the international break. So what are they talking about? Conversations. There is a meeting plan. Now, this might just be one of those scheduled meetings in general where they will discuss the January window and many more things, but it's been confirmed by Laurie Whitwell, Adam Kraft, and all the reliable people inside United that there is a big meeting on the Tuesday with the more important people inside the club. So let's give you a bit of context and information about this meeting. The club's hierarchy is due to gather in London on Tuesday for a long-planned meeting. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Sir Dave Brailsford, Omar Barada, Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Joel Glazer will be present, among others. It's unclear whether the team's performance will be on the agenda at the meeting. So they're saying there's a meeting. Ratcliffe, Brailsford, Barada, Ashworth, Wilcox, Joel Glazer will be present. They don't know if they're going to talk about the poor performances. Now, I think the meeting will be to talk about the January transfer window. I think it could just be a generally scheduled meeting, but considering all the pressure on Ten Hag, I'd be very shocked if they had a meeting with everybody here and they didn't speak about the manager's situation, particularly when we know that Jim Ratcliffe is not happy with the manager's situation. And, you know, Joel Glazer is going to be there. And for them to sack the manager, they have to play it through Glazer and Ratcliffe. There's no doubt in my mind that they will be discussing the manager's situation in this meeting. I mean, Fabrizio Romano basically said there are internal talks going on about the future of Ten Hag. There's no doubt in my mind. There might be things on the agenda to discuss, but they'll be discussing the manager situation, because if we have an absolute stinker of a performance versus Aston Villa, I think he's gone. And it will be discussed. Maybe if we do all right versus Aston Villa, maybe they've seen enough and maybe he's gone. But there's no doubt in my mind that, yes, they might be discussing routine things, but they're also going to be discussing the manager situation, because these are all the people that would need to be there or shouldn't be informed if Ten Hag was going to be sacked. And it's right after the Villa game. And they keep saying, even after Tottenham, he's got to the Villa game, because they have all these meetings scheduled in the international break. And according to one source, and it wasn't the most reliable source, so do take a pinch of salt, but in my live stream yesterday, we reported news that Manchester United went to Inzaghi and said that the manager job would be around in the October international break if he wanted it, and Inzaghi said no. But the fact that United may have gone to Inzaghi and said the job's available in the October international break last week, suggests that maybe the plan is just to sack him after the Villa game, sack him in the international break. Maybe that's the plan, because they did approach Inzaghi about it. Who knows? But I would take that story with a pinch of salt. But what else has been said on this situation here? Adam Crafton said Joel Glazer's flying from the US to attend. CFO Roger Bell and CEO Colette Rocher will also be present, and any call on Ten Hag's future will come from the ownership of Ratcliffe, Brailsford and Joel Glazer forming a 3-person committee. They would base their conclusions on recommendations, notably from Barada, Ashworth and Wilcox. Now, interestingly, all of those people are going to be present at the meetings. Barada, Ashworth and Wilcox will give them some recommendations, but Jim Ratcliffe and Joel Glazer may make the same decision. And we know if Jim Ratcliffe had his way, Ten Hag would be out the door right now and Thomas Tuchel would be in. We know that Jim Ratcliffe is not a big fan of Erik Ten Hag, but it's on Ashworth and Barada to give recommendations, and he knows that they are the experts and that he should listen to them. But we know that Jim Ratcliffe is getting very frustrated and may pull the plug. It was also said by Disco Mirror, unless his side somehow managed to pull off a major shock on Sunday and a win at Villa, Erik Ten Hag is almost certain to be on his way. Now, I really hope that we beat Villa and we put in a really good performance, and that Erik Ten Hag tries something different that looks really good. And then after Villa, after international break, we have 3 or 4 wins in a row and we're playing this new sort of way of football that is working with our players and making our players look good. That's what I really hope happens, and that he can stay and that he can play good football and he can turn it around and we go on this miraculous run of maybe, we win 14 out of our next 16 games or something, with maybe 1 draw and 1 loss to be, like a really good run of form. I want to see something like that where we play well and we deserve to win in all of those games. I want to see that from Ten Hag. That's, for me, the way that we could turn it around. But I just, to be honest, I don't see it happening. And I think because I don't see it happening and I don't see him changing it around, because it's been 18 months of the same stuff, the same mistakes, and he's not changed or adjusted or done anything to help the out-of-possession issues, I do think he could be gone after Villa. Now, Robbo says this: it truly makes zero sense for the club to value individual results like this when the issues are fundamentally about Ten Hag's personal traits and values. I understand finals holding weight, but this is the 2nd game in the Europa League or the 7th game in the Premier League, and I get a point. A lot of people are saying, why should the Villa game matter? We've seen enough already. Even if the Villa game's good, we know we'll probably go back to another bad performance the next game, and we'll go round and round and round. Should we just pull the trigger now? That's what a lot of people are saying, and maybe that's something that INEOS will discuss in their meeting. Let me know your thoughts down below. But again, there is a strong feeling that I think they could make a decision to sack Ten Hag, especially when we hear things like this. Manchester United have been courting Inzaghi for months, and a phone call via intermediary arrived recently too. Given that a transfer would be impossible at this time, the Inter coach confirmed he's very happy where he is. So another source has come out today to say that we did call Inzaghi in the international break. There was a source that was a different source to this that said yesterday that we offered him the job in the international break, and that we said the job could be available in the international break if he wants it. Is this a situation of like last summer? Last summer, INEOS wanted to get rid of Ten Hag. They spoke to Tuchel, they spoke to a couple managers, they couldn't get Tuchel, they couldn't get McKenna, they didn't have Ashworth and Barada, and so they decided, let's just stick with Ten Hag. Is this a situation where INEOS are like, we want to sack Ten Hag in the October international break, but only if we can get Inzaghi, only if we can get Amorim, only if we get McKenna? And could INEOS be speaking to this manager and that manager and this manager and that manager? Who knows? Then none of them are tier 1 sources, but we've got 2 or 3 sources saying that they spoke to Inzaghi, and one source said we offered him the job, but he rejected it. I mean, there's no surprise he rejected it. He's doing something amazing at Inter. Why would he leave Inter for United? But it's one to keep an eye on. Now, I do want to talk about a little bit of transfer news ahead of the January window, because I think the scheduled meeting won't just be to discuss, of course, Ten Hag and all of that situation going on, but I think they will be there to discuss some transfer news. So it was said that United are monitoring Crystal Palace midfielder Adam Wharton ahead of a bid in January, and the youngster's viewed as a potential replacement for Eriksen. Now, Manchester United have had long-standing interest in Adam Wharton. Now, one thing I will say in regards to Adam Wharton is I don't think he's been particularly good this season for Crystal Palace. I think he's had a really poor start to the season, and that might be one we need to watch. And I see him more as a summer signing, especially because Crystal Palace will put a big fee on him. But ultimately, I think this summer we need 2 midfielders. I think we need 2 midfielders. I think we need a long-term Casemiro replacement. I think we need a long-term Eriksen replacement. 2 players that are very good off the ball, that can cover massive amounts of ground off the ball, but one of them also has to be really good on the ball and can take care of it. That's what I think I need. Whether it's Adam, that's what I think we need. Whether it's Adam Wharton, whether it's Stiller, someone that can do a job on and off the ball is what we need in midfield, and we need two. I also think we need a left back, but I think we need a left back in January. If we could get Anthony Robinson now, and then I think we need a centre back that can cover large space, that is physical and Branthwaite. I think we need Branthwaite. I think we need Anthony Robinson. I think we need Wharton or Stiller. I think we need a more advanced midfielder that's good at taking care of the ball, and then I think we'll probably need another winger to bolster the front line for depth and replace Anthony. Talking of final additions, it was confirmed yesterday that Obi Martin to United is done. He's signed his contract and there should be an announcement soon. So that is all your latest Manchester United news rounded up into a 10-minute video. Please do hit the like button. Of course, subscribe down below if you're new. I'll be back tonight. Thank you for watching. Bye.